This is huge. Absolutely huge. This is a great Sunday night flex now. Penix Jr. versus Jaden Daniels, two rookie quarterbacks, both with a lot on the line.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Picks Wednesday. Yes, you heard me correctly. A Christmas Wednesday. And maybe instead of saying, ho, 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 yeah, it is, I should have said, ho, 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 ho. Yeah, it is, because it is a Merry Christmas edition of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Yes, we do a new episode every day, Monday through Friday, the entire NFL season. That is our promise to you. That's how we roll. Now, to peel back the curtain, truth be told a little bit, recording this earlier because Tuesday, I'm actually getting some family time later in the day with my sister and brother-in-law and their kids. Wednesday is when we'll do the Christmas festivities at my house. Got to be done by like 7:30 though, because I got to drive to Pittsburgh, the Steel City. I am on the call, radio call, for the Chiefs and the Steelers, for Westwood One National Radio, for anybody driving around today between 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Please find me on the radio dial. Love when you guys do that. And then I'll fly to Boston later tonight, Christmas night, for Chargers, Patriots, Saturday, 1 o'clock, NFL Network. Very, very much looking forward to it. I think I should have time, by the way, because I'll be in that Boston hotel room Thursday all day. So I should be able to have a spread the word winner via social media. That's one of you that goes the extra mile to somehow, some way, engage with any of our posts on social media at Ross Tucker Pod. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL, but it helps the algorithm. If you reply, if you repost, if you like, if you quote post, any of those things, comment, helps quite a bit. So does taking advantage of our sponsors, like a lot. Can't tell you how much we appreciate those of you that take advantage of any of our sponsors. Labatt and Smirnoff, of course, westshorehome.com/Ross, the Game Time app, Future Fans, getting a box from Future Fans using the code Ross. A lot of ways you can take advantage of some of our sponsors that we greatly, greatly appreciate it. YouTube is growing by leaps and bounds, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Can't imagine there's very many other people that have a fresh new podcast today here on Christmas. So hopefully the YouTubers out there enjoy it. Remember to comment so I can name you the winner and send you a cameo style video. youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. All right, Jack, here's the deal. We're going to do picks for every game, the 2 today, then Thursday night, then the 3 Saturday, then the rest on Sunday. But before we do, what are your Christmas Day plans, Jack? What do you got going the rest of the day?
Nothing really. Just hanging out, watching football. I can't really say doing anything exciting on Christmas.
Well, you're with your family, right?
Well, yeah, but I am every day. That's nothing. That's like you saying. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's really not noteworthy.
Wow. Well, it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome that you get a chance to do that. All right, let's dive into these picks.
Want to know which team is going to win every single game on Sunday? Then listen up.
All right, first we're going to start off with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's right. And while most of you are listening to this or watching it, I'll be driving 3 hours pretty much due west to the Steel City. As a reminder, because we're recording this Monday late, we don't have all of the injury information. I don't know whether or not George Pickens is going to play, although they said it was looking good. or that there was a real shot for not only him, but some of the other guys that missed on Saturday. This whole schedule's crazy. I mean, they just played Saturday, and it's Monday afternoon, and they're playing in 2 days. I mean, it really is pretty wild, but the television numbers merit it, right? Although I guess, do you think everybody, Jack, has Netflix? Like, what percentage of people do you think have Netflix? I'm really curious how many people watch these games.
I feel like if Amazon Prime was never really much of an issue for viewership, I feel like Netflix is going to be a walk in the park. Because a lot of TVs have like a Netflix button now too.
Yeah. And more people have Netflix than Amazon Prime, I feel like.
Oh yeah. That's like the first one you get if you get streaming services.
Right. Man, you don't even remember this, Jack, but everybody used to go to Blockbuster Video to get your first VHS tapes and then DVDs. And all of a sudden, my wife, I think when she was living in New York City, she told me about this service called Netflix, where they send the DVDs to your house. So you don't have to go to the store. You have them, you keep them for however long, you send them back. Shout out to Netflix, man. I mean, they really multiple times kind of thought ahead as to what they wanted to do. That is really, really well done by them. Because you're right. I think even my controllers here, which are like 10 years old, have a Netflix button on them. On my Samsung thing, I'm not seeing it on this, but there's definitely other controllers I have that have that Netflix button. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a Chiefs game. Now, the Steelers have lost 2 in a row. They had a great chance to win that game against the Ravens if Russell Wilson didn't have those 2 critical turnovers. The Chiefs, though, I think really want to wrap this thing up, the number 1 seed. I am still floored by how easily the Ravens ran the ball on the Steelers. I guess I just don't know if the Chiefs will have the patience to do that or even try to do that. I do think this will be a close game. I don't think there will be a lot of points, although there were certainly more points in that Ravens-Steelers game than I was anticipating. I guess I would just say, I know that Mike Tomlin is like the master of muddying games up, making them uglier and them being lower scoring, and somehow his team, even if they're outmanned, finds a way to win. Like, I know all that, but not against the Chiefs. I mean, not against the Chiefs. I lost track. I wrote an article a couple weeks ago for the 33rd team, but I lost track of how many games in a row they've won. Is it 15? Is it 14? No, it was 15. So now it's got to be 16 maybe. How many one-score games the Chiefs have won in a row dating back to the end of the regular season last year. It's crazy. I do think look, the streak's going to end at some point. The question is whether or not it ends in the regular season or in the postseason or next year. I got to be honest with you, Jack, on some level, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I almost want it to end this game against the Steelers or against the Broncos next week because I'm a little bit leery of it ending in the postseason. You almost want to get one of those one-score losses out of your system. At any rate, I'm going to take the Chiefs to win a close one. That's just what they do. But I don't think there's a ton of points in this one. I think the Steelers' defense bounces back, but I don't think the Steelers' offense can score that much against the Chiefs' defense. Let's go 20-17. The Chiefs win.
Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens, who are at the Houston Texans.
I forgot about that game was after my game. Would have been really nice, by the way, if 4:30 was my game. But I forgot about that, which is good because it means that when I get to the Pittsburgh airport, I'll have something to watch and enjoy while I'm waiting to fly, which is awesome. I like the Ravens. I thought that was a really tough loss for the Texans with Tank Dell. It's one thing to lose Stephon Diggs. Okay, that stinks, but we still have Nico Collins. We still have Tank Dell. Now they lose Tank Dell too. I really strongly dislike when teams lose multiple guys that they really need, multiple guys at the same position. It just hurts. Ravens looked awesome. I mean, awesome against the Steelers on Saturday, I thought. I like the Ravens to win this game. I don't know if it's that close. I guess if the Texans were one score with the Chiefs, this is probably one score at home. But I'm taking the Ravens to win this game on the road. I'm going to say 27-20 Ravens.
Next up, the Seattle Seahawks are traveling to Chicago to play the Bears.
That's the Thursday night game. Yes, there's still a Thursday night game. And my Thursday night pick is always presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Well, the Seahawks finally get back on track and can put some pressure on the Rams, which is what they need to do. So I like the Rams play Saturday night, by the way, against the Arizona Cardinals. But I like the Seahawks in this game. The Bears just aren't very good, and the Seahawks have to bounce back after really back-to-back disappointing performances. So give me the Seahawks all day in this one. I think the Bears have kind of packed it up, pack it in. Somebody referenced that, either in an email or on Slack. Somebody referenced, that's a song from back in the day, and someone referenced that we must be the same age because of my musical references. Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Anyway, Seahawks, get the ground game going, man. Get it going up front a little bit. I think they score 24. So let's go 24-17, Seattle.
Next up is a game you might know a thing or two about with the Chargers. They are at the New England Patriots.
So interestingly, I've already picked 3 road teams this week. That doesn't happen very often. That's not very likely. So keep that in mind. I don't look at it holistically. I look at it one game at a time. Chargers, Patriots. It's interesting, just for those of you that are inclined, the Patriots are only 4-point underdogs. I have our research team looking up some of the coldest games in Chargers history. It's going to be cold, man. This is going to be a cold game. I was just out in L.A., which it's nice. I see why people live out there. It's really nice. Now they got to go, though, to New England, Foxborough, home of the Pats. Patriots looked much better against the Bills. But Patriots, they just played Sunday. Chargers played Thursday. I think it's a back-and-forth game. I think it's a good game. I'll just say that late in the game, kind of like against the Broncos, Justin Herbert makes the critical play that's needed to make. I have more confidence in him and the Chargers than I do in Drake May and the Patriots, even though I love Drake May. Let's go 24-23 Chargers. Awesome game.
So it will not be the coldest game in Chargers history. The coldest is the Freezer Bowl, 1981 AFC Championship that ever reported negative 59-degree wind chill.
I knew that. That's like the coldest game in NFL history, or one of them. I just meant like the last time the Chargers played in a game this cold. They played the AFC Championship in New England one time when Rivers had the torn ACL and it was cold, really cold. Staying in the Christmas spirit, Jack, how about Masterclass with that new class, Bet Smart, Top Sports Betting Strategies? I think it'd be a great fit for you guys that are curious, want to learn more about sports betting, get real-world insights from sharps who have been doing this for a long time. Here's the deal with Masterclass. They got a lot of cool classes you can learn. They always have great offers during the holidays. Sometimes they're up to as much as 50% off. So head over to masterclass.com/Ross for the current offer. That's up to 50% off at masterclass.com/Ross. Masterclass.com/Ross. Remember, all sports betting involves risk, and you are responsible for complying with all sports betting laws in your jurisdiction. Learn more about betting from some pros. I love it. Masterclass.com/Ross. We got an awesome week to drink some Smirnoff cocktails and enjoy football. How about Christmas Eve, Christmas. We got 2 games, including the game I'm calling. Thursday night, Saturday, Sunday. Guess what? Smirnoff and the NFL are with you every step of the way. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka. Plus, they are an official vodka partner of the NFL. This holiday season, when you're enjoying the game and your cocktails, please make sure to drink responsibly. Take a minute, make a plan, never drive impaired. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. Smirnoff, we do game days.
Big game for playoff implications. The Broncos at the Bengals.
Huge game for playoff implications. That's the game that'll be up after us on NFL Network. By the way, programming note. Anybody that watches Saturday on NFL Network, remember to screenshot when I'm on right at the start of the game and then tag me on social media like watching my boy Ross Tucker, watching the GOAT. I'll repost you guys if I can. I usually wait till halftime or something so people don't think I'm on my phone during the commercial break ever, which I'm usually not. I'm usually like prepping for the next series. So I like the Bengals to win the game. You know, the Bengals have been playing better as of late. They just blew out the Browns. The Broncos, I think, are a good team, but I don't know. I just think there's a lot of pressure on them. I think the Bengals are playing. I think the Bengals, is it true if they win out, they're going to the playoffs?
They need a couple things to fall their way. There's a couple teams that have to lose, so it's not necessarily win it in.
But they would be the one beating the Broncos head-to-head. Oh, no, they would still need the Broncos to lose the last
Chiefs,
game, too.
To the Chiefs, which is possible.
Yeah, who might not be playing their guys in that game, depending on what shakes out. That's right. At any rate, I like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, what they're doing. They're kind of finishing strong. They're not done with this thing either. So they need to take care of business and beat the Broncos. But also, a bunch of people are going to be watching my game, Jack. Colts fans, Dolphins fans, Bengals fans. They all want the Chargers to lose. I guess even Broncos fans want the Chargers to lose. So a lot of people will be watching my game rooting for the Patriots, if you can believe that. Let's say Bengals 27, Broncos 20.
Next up, the Arizona Cardinals are at the LA Rams.
So the real question for this game is James Conner's health. And again, we're recording it late Monday, so it's hard to know what his status is. If James Conner plays, I think there's an excellent chance that the Arizona Cardinals win this game. But they are absolutely a different team without him. So, and he's banged up. Hard to know exactly where he's at. I'm going to take the Rams to win the game. They got a chance to basically cement the NFC West with a win. But I think it'll be a good game. I think the Cardinals will come out and fight the Rams to the death, even though they got kicked out of the playoffs. They got knocked out. Let's say 23-20 Rams.
Indianapolis Colts are at the New York Giants.
Really like the Colts here. I think the Colts blow them away. I think the Colts run all over them. I think it's big yards for Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson again as the Colts continue to push for a potential playoff berth. I guess only if the Chargers lose, but they want that winning season regardless. And their offensive line and rushing attack looked really good against the Titans. The Giants, we know their situation. 27-13 Colts.
New York Jets are at the Buffalo Bills.
Well, the Jets were big. The Patriots were big underdogs against the Bills, and they still found a way to almost win that game. And really, they were a play or two away from winning that game, which is interesting. The Jets, I think, obviously they're still playing, but I don't picture them going into Buffalo and getting this win. Although the Bills, I guess, have somewhat questionable incentive right now, right? They're like pretty much locked into getting the number 2 seed. It's highly unlikely they'll get the number 1 seed. In fact, they'll know that they're not getting the number 1 seed if the Chiefs beat the Steelers. They'll still play their guys in this one, I think, to totally cement the number 2 seed, but perhaps not in Week 18 when they play the Patriots again actually. So I'll go Buffalo Bills to win 27-20. Been a popular score for me today.
Next up, Tennessee Titans are at the Jags.
Whew. Man, I don't know. This one's a tough one to call with the way these teams have been playing. This is one of those that somebody's got to win, which is good for whoever ends up winning it. I did like the fight the Titans showed in the second half of that game. Not a great look for the Jags to lose to the Raiders. Give me the Titans on the road to get it done. 20-17, Tennessee somehow pulls it off.
Next up, the Raiders. They are at the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, when the Saints come marching in. Man, Antonio Pierce, he's like doubling and tripling down this week on not caring about the draft status, which that's not really his job. You know, like if that's a priority of ownership or the front office, they could tell him to play younger guys or they could do whatever they want, I guess, if you're the owner. But they haven't told him that. Probably wouldn't be the best look if they did tell him that, quite frankly. So I think the Raiders have a very competitive game, but ultimately I'm going to take the Saints. Kind of like what I've seen from Spencer Rattler. Saints are at home. I don't know about the Raiders getting back-to-back wins, although they could. Aiden O'Connell looked competent, I thought, in that win over the Jags. I'll take the Saints after a couple losses to get back in the win column against the Raiders. I don't think there's a ton of points in this one. 20-17, Saints.
Panthers have a chance to play spoiler yet again, this time on the road against the Bucs.
They do. How about the Panthers? They knocked the Cardinals out last week. They have a chance to kind of knock the Bucs out this week. I don't think it happens. I think the Bucs, although remember earlier in the season, only a couple weeks ago, these teams went to OT, and that was a very competitive game that the Panthers really easily could have won. I like the Bucs to bounce back and finish these next 2 weeks strong. It's kind of a shame the Bucs don't get to play the Falcons again to wrap up the season. That would be, you like when it's like a matchup like that really comes down to the end that they play against each other. Give me Tampa Bay to win that game. I think they'll score a decent amount of points. I'll say my favorite score this week, which is, for whatever reason, 27-20 Bucs.
Next up, Dallas Cowboys are at the Philadelphia Eagles.
How about them Cowboys? So the Eagles, again, while we're recording this, we don't know Jalen Hurts' status from the concussion. So I'm going to pick the Eagles to win either way. I think if Hurts wins, I think the Eagles win the game like 27-17. I think they win by 10. If Hurts doesn't win, I think the Eagles win 19-16. How about that? Either way, I'm taking the Eagles defense to play much better and step up. So give me the Eagles to get this win. Cowboys got a huge win Sunday night. They got momentum. Kudos to them. But I think the Eagles take care of business. Eagles can probably rest their guys next week if they get this win.
Miami Dolphins are at the Cleveland Browns.
By the way, Eagles being able to rest their guys because at that point they would have locked up the NFC East and the number 2 seed, but not have a realistic chance at the number 1 seed unless the Lions and Vikings both lose, which is a possibility. I like the Dolphins. A bunch of teams in the same spot where they're trying to maybe make the playoffs, but if not, at least be 9-8. Browns are kind of beat up. Browns in a bad place. I like the Dolphins quite a bit in this game. That was a big win for them against the Niners. They're trying to finish the right way. Although, wait, how cold is it going to be in Cleveland? Because the Dolphins are like a fish out of water when it's cold. That's something to note for sure. I guess I'll still take the Dolphins because this is Tua's opportunity to try to squash that narrative. We'll see if he can actually do it. I don't think they'll score as many points as they normally do. Now I think it's, how about this? 20-13 Dolphins.
Next up, the Packers are at the Vikings.
What a game. I mean, arguably the two best teams in the NFC right now with the way these teams have been playing as of late. Packers at the Vikings. Vikings have been playing really well. I think the Packers are better. I think the Packers get this win. This might be I got to check the point spread. This might be my first and only upset. What's the spread in this bad boy? Vikings are only favored by 1. So it is an upset, but it's not much of one. Give me the Packers to win a fun, shootout game, Jack. 27-24 Packers over Sam Darnold and the Vikings.
Another key playoff seeding game, the Falcons at the Commanders.
This is huge. Absolutely huge. This is a great Sunday night flex now. Penix Jr. versus Jaden Daniels. I mean, you've got two rookie quarterbacks, both with a lot on the line. I love it. I'm taking the Commanders. I just think they're the better team. I think they showed that. You wonder if there's a letdown after that game against the Eagles or not. But give me the Commanders. They're better. They do the Bucs a huge favor by knocking off the Falcons 27-23. And actually 27-20.
And we'll wrap things up. The Lions at the Niners.
I like the Lions. This is, the Niners have pride. The Niners are going to come to play. I don't doubt that, but I'm not picking them to beat the Lions. Not after the way the Niners looked against the Dolphins. That was disappointing. Give me the Lions. They're continuing to push for that number 1 seed. They know how important it is. A lot of points in this one, though. How about this, Jack? 35-34 Detroit. What a way to end it. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a great day. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. If you didn't get one of those for a loved one the last couple weeks, you blew it. You're a terrible gift giver. You're bad at life, and you should feel bad about yourself. myfrontpagestory.com. Backofficescheduler.com, humanetnyc.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy.